Hey, beautiful people. If you are giving birth in the hospital, you need to make sure that you listen, rewatch, and save this birth story because majority of us are giving birth in the hospital. And while that may not be your first choice or that is where you feel the safest, it's important to be able to listen to other stories that are very positive, that sound like the one that you want to have and or mimic or reflect the type of environment that you're going to be in. And so I'm super excited to get back on live, hopefully more consistently, to share more birth stories. Obviously, I'm having these conversations individually with these families, but if you've taken my program or if you've learned anything from me, you will know that it's important to watch and listen to positive birth stories. There are a lot of scary, negative stories out there that we can just stumble upon, but unfortunately, those don't really help us get closer to where we're trying to be when it comes to our birthing experience. So I want to be able to shed light and share more of those positive birth stories here so that you guys have access to them and that you have like the, stories that are not clickbait, if you will, where you think you're watching a positive birth story and then you end up watching something that's not so positive. So if you guys have questions while we're chatting, put them in the chat and we will try to address them as they come up. But I am going to add her in. And also, while I'm adding this family in, let me know when you're due, where you're at, and what you're looking to get out of this story. Let me see how to... Shelly, if you are... Oh, here we go. Never mind. Why can't I add you? Hey, families! It's so long since I've seen y'all's beautiful faces.
Hi.
How are you?
We're doing good.
Doing good. How you doing?
You did not just have a baby. You are all just glowing.
I'm trying. Thank you.
I'm so excited. So, y'all, this is a family who I was able to support, and they had their baby in March. Yeah, so they had their baby in March, and just one of my most favorite families to like literally talk to when we would get on our Zoom calls because they just always were so invested in their like preparation, and Shelly would come with her notebook and like have her questions, and I just love talking to them. So when they did finally have their baby and they shared like their whole experience, it just was, and y'all know that I am a believer, it was just like God's hand was all over it from the beginning, but God's hand was definitely all over it for how you guys manifested and really spoke and prayed about the type of birth that you wanted. So I am super duper excited to have y'all share your story. But before we do that, just tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about, what y'all do. Is this your first baby? Just kind of give us the rundown.
Okay, well, so I'm Sebastian Francois. This is my beautiful wife, Clichelle Achille Francois. We're both Haitian. We met through music because we're both artists, and we've been together for almost 12 years, married for, I'll say, almost 4. And we had our first baby earlier this year on March 22nd. It was a beautiful journey. All in all, like our relationship, and also just, planning, we actually planned to have a child, and, we wanted to actually do it the right way, because that's just what we always envisioned for ourselves. So, I work in digital media. She works in human resources.
By trade.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of, in a nutshell. We had a beautiful daughter named Giselle. She's, everything that we could have wanted in a daughter so far. And it's been an incredible experience. She's 6 months now, and we've learned a lot beforehand, and also on the job training, so to speak, how to keep this little human alive and happy and well. But honestly, so far it's a beautiful experience, and we look forward to all the other, just, I guess, the challenges and the pros and the cons, anything that's going to help us just be better as parents. We're looking forward to embracing it.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so first of all, I want to just call out that most people who are first-time parents that are 6 months in are not saying, like, we're looking forward to, like, the challenges and we're looking forward to, like, you know, I'm over here, toddlerhood is kicking my butt. And I just love y'all's positivity and just, you know, desire to continue to learn, because, you know, when you do get to different stages of parenting, it's not that it gets easier, it just gets different. And there's different kinds of challenges and different things that you have to learn about yourself. So I just love y'all's just spirit when it comes to this whole process of parenting. So let's start from the beginning. Y'all found out you were expecting. What was going through your mind? I know you said you planned it. So when you found out that you were actually expecting, got the big fat positive, what were you thinking? How did you know that you wanted to have the type of birth that you wanted to have? Walk us through that thought process and how you kind of made the choice that this is the type of birth that I'm planning for. And then we'll kind of go through what you did to actually prepare for that birth.
Well, luckily for me, I have close, like my best friend is a mommy. So she gave me all of her, well, I actually went through her birth with her. And so I knew exactly how it would look like. And I knew exactly how I wanted mine to turn out to be in terms of just smooth journey, smooth process. Yeah, she's my goddaughter is super beautiful. And so her process was just, it was just like, it was scary for me because I was there. And so I was like, okay, so how do I make sure that, you know, I'm not scared, I'm not tense, because I'm a worrywart. And so I'm not tense, I'm not stressed out. And I know a lot of my friends were saying, you know, or who are mommies, and my mother was just saying, you know, the pain, the pain, the pain. That's all that was thrown at me. So I learned about, you know, I learned more about, you know, painless births, just YouTubing. I did a lot of YouTube. So I was like, maybe I can try to shift it. I didn't know if I could, but I was just saying any way that I can, you know, prepare myself to overcome that pain or deal with it or learn more about it. That's exactly how I went through my journey. So yeah, I had a lot of prep from friends, my parents, and, you know, having gone through this course, it changed my whole life, you know, changed my whole perspective on how to deal with it. So, yeah.
And just to add on to what she said, just to bring it to where we actually found out that we were pregnant, you know, she found out last July.
Yeah.
And she actually held the news from me for about a week or so, right? It was what, a week?
4 days.
For 4 days.
4 days.
She was waiting to tell me on my birthday.
Yes.
So
yeah.
My birthday is August 7th. She found out August August. You know,
no, maybe
like
not
the second
first.
or third, right?
Yeah, the third, or the second or third, or something like that.
And she said that was like the most like intense 4 days of her life, just keeping that from me, and especially because I was, you know, I completely was always looking forward to being a father.
Right.
You know, so so she told me on my birthday like at 3 a.m.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm jumping all over the house, going crazy. And yeah, we still have the footage and everything. Like, and but it was a great experience. But I'll be honest with you, the next day, I woke up and I felt like, even though I mean it was still the same day, but that day when I woke up and it sunk in, I was like, oh, okay, I'm about to be a father. What's the first thing I should be doing right now? Like, what's the very first thing? Because I always told myself, when I find out I'm having a child, I cannot be sitting on my hands. I have to do everything that is needed to make sure that everything goes smoothly. Her process is smooth. This is my job. I'm not physically having this baby. I got to make sure she's well at all times. What's the first thing I could do? And the first thing I did was just clear out one of our rooms to create her room, which is the room we're in now.
Yeah.
That was literally the first thing I did. I just spent the whole Sunday morning. I played nothing but loud Kirk Franklin all day to get me in the mood. I just cleared out the entire storage room and to make her room with that. But it was an exciting time.
Good. Yeah, Shelly, I did the same thing with my husband this last time. It was so, I sat on the information for a week and it was so hard. I was like trying to pretend like life was normal. And meanwhile, I'm like, he's like, you want a glass of wine? I'm like, no, not tonight. So no thanks. But Yes. Okay. I love that. So from the beginning, y'all's minds were like, okay, we got to like actually do something about this new life that we're about to bring into the world. So how did you start preparing? Because you desired to have an unmedicated birth, right?
Yes.
So you started to do the research. I want this pain-free experience. I want a very positive experience. What did you do to actually prepare for that? And then obviously I want you to share the story, but like, what did you do from that moment where you're like, okay, I have 9 months or however many months, from the time that you found out? What did you guys do to actually make yourselves feel confident walking into that experience?
Well, I'm a planner. So, aside from YouTube, I did a lot of, audiobook listening on Audible. I made sure that I just soaked up a lot of knowledge, talked to some key friends of mine, and then first things first that we did, we found our doula. Shout out to Journeying Mamas. She's awesome. And she was such a key person that I could just, pick her brain. She can give me information. She was actually the one who referred us to a Working Mama to kind of take the course. And so that was basically my, check off list. YouTube, talk to people, read a lot or listen a lot, and then find a doula. That was just basically how we started our journey. Yeah, that was just basically but I mean, he kind of tagged along because I was the one that was just like, oh, we got to do this. Oh, from this YouTube video. Oh, from what it says here. Oh, Instagram, this says this. And I was just literally on a research rampage planning mode and just making sure that, I did all the necessary steps to prepare myself in order to, move in.
Yeah, I think she was listening to the book, What to Expect When Expecting, I believe. And then she sent me the book From Do to Dad. Because we had spoke to a couple who are close friends of ours that have 2 kids, and they mentioned they suggested, hey, you guys should check out this book From Do to Dad. And because I always used to think, well, I always was thinking at the time, what's my position in this? What exactly do I do? I mean, yes, I help you and all that stuff, but I needed like practical steps, and that's what I really needed. I was like, what exactly should I be doing? I mean, yeah, I can rub your feet, or I can tell you it's going to be okay, or I can hold you at night. But what practical things should I be doing to help this process go as smooth as possible for you? Like what's within my control. So that helped, but the class helped 10 times more than that.
Amazingly.
Okay, so tell me how. Tell us how. Because, obviously I was there with you guys every week, and we were like talking through and having, conversations and things like that. But now that the big day has come and gone, what would you say? Because I think one of the things that I hear a lot from families is that there's just so much information out there. There's so many YouTube videos. There's so many books. There's so many pieces of information. You don't even know where to start. And just like what you said, Sebastian, is like, I just need a game plan. Just like, give me this, and this, and then I'm going to make sure that I execute on that plan. But a lot of people are just like, I don't know where to start. And so tell me, tell everybody, like, how did you finally get to that point where you're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do? Of course, it's not a linear process, but like, here's what helped me feel like I know what I'm supposed to do, and it's, organized, and you're a planner, and you guys had the plan walking in.
So, prior to starting the class, fortunately, our in-laws, his brother and my sister-in-law, actually were pregnant at the same time. And so they took a birth course, literally right before we decided to take one, or at some point of the journey. And so it didn't work out schedule-wise. And so our doula mentioned Work Your Birth. And then when we started to take it, we loved that it was self-paced. Because, we had different work schedules. The only time we could just be together and do it together was on the weekends. And so the fact that it was just like, how could I say, chronological. You started out with specific points of going into it, and I'm not going to say too much, but I'm like, going into it, you're going to tackle a concern that we have in terms of fear, right? And so you kind of just knocked that right out of the park and saying, okay, if you're joining, this is what you know, what it's looking like for you right now. This is how you overcome it, etc. And then going to the next stage of the week 2 was kind of like specific points that we were concerned about. Okay, so they tell you about this. Okay, well, this is how you know statistics. How about you look up the statistics? This is how you know from the statistics how to move forward or how to get to the next point. Then on week 3, it's kind of like the questions that we had lined up were actually getting answered as we were going to the weeks. And then the bonus part of it was that we were able to speak to you weekly with our questions. Even if we didn't have questions, other families had questions that we didn't even think about. You were able to answer and give us more food for thought to kind of just make sure that we're prepared. You were so thorough in the course and kept giving us information during the course with videos on your Instagram and your YouTube that we didn't miss a beat. It wasn't anything that was missed. And I think that the starting point was what helped the most in terms of how to tackle the fear and concern. And then it made it easier because you also shared resources that a lot of well, we did take another birth course, but from hearing other birth course experiences, you don't see additional resources. It's just kind of like telling or advising or teaching, but you're not doing the hands-on work. And so with this course, we did a lot of hands-on work. You even added a partner segment, which was like
that was big. That was the big one for me. The dedicated like class when you brought your husband in and he discussed what he did. That was the most, because I didn't think that was gonna happen. I thought it was just gonna be strictly about, you know, the woman and how we help. But I liked how there was one dedicated class for what I should do. That really helped me because I wasn't expecting that. And honestly, I'll say that. Will you finish speaking? Or do you...
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. One thing I really like, well, first off, the course was really perfect for the type of person she is because it was incredibly thorough and detailed, and that's how she is. She, even when we go to our pediatrician, she has like 16 questions for her per visit. And then, you know.
Yes, girl, you were like, these are the questions that you need to take to your provider.
Right.
I'm so ready.
Exactly. Like, and
all the time.
Exactly. You know, and so she'll always have questions about it when it came time. That was Wednesday night, right? When we had our, was it when we used to meet?
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday. No, Wednesday night. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday night.
Yeah, so like every, you know, Tuesday she'll plan everything, and you know, you'll be able to like answer like half of her questions before she even gets you know. So that was also important, and just to be even more practical, I think one thing that helped specifically during the actual birthing process, like when we were in the hospital, was when you what was it, like the whole swaying, and like when she was like holding that,
setting the mood.
Yeah, that really helped when it was supposed to. Yeah. Because when she started going through her contractions, you know, at first it was kind of easy, then it gradually got a bit rough. But that whole swaying, like, even though it was kind of hard for me because it was like 1, 2 in the morning, but you know, she had her arms. I mean, she was just doing all the swaying. It really calmed her down. And I was like, okay, I'm glad we know that. We would have never have known to do something like that. And just to tag on to what you said earlier about fear is probably like the most. We didn't realize how much the birthing process is mental. Everybody discusses how much it is, how physical it is, you know, pain, this and that. And when you kind of share how mental it is, I was like, you know, listen, we have the opportunity to change our mindset about this, and we can go about this completely different, which is incredibly important to a woman like her who's, you know, constantly in her thoughts. So the fact that was like one of the first things we tackled, I was like, okay, we have to stay the course, literally. Yeah. You know, so that was a great help for us, like, to be specific.
Yeah. Love that. Y'all were okay. So tell us the story. Because now I'm like, I want all the juicy details. Because you know, now I'm like, okay, these things were super helpful. Which also, for those of you who are watching, like, we did not discuss anything before this call. This is not like I did not pay them to say any of those things. But it's helpful because so often the partners are left out of the conversation, right? And like my husband the first time was just lost. He was clueless. I was like, he's rubbing my back. You're doing a great job. I'm like, yeah, but I need more, friend. But I didn't know what to tell him that I needed because I didn't know what I needed and he didn't know what was going on. And so I'm just so inspired by the families like yourselves who come through this program, because partners are so invested. Like, you have a particular role in this process, and a doula has a particular role in this process, and some families don't have the opportunity to have a doula in the room with them. And I've also seen partners be able to play a similar role as a doula would to support mom emotionally and physically. And it's possible when a partner knows what they're supposed to do and also isn't afraid and knows how to keep their spouse or their partner calm and just in the zone. So tell us the whole story, because I know the story. And I think it's going to inspire so many people, because for us type A folks, we like to put the plan together and to follow the plan like we put it together. And sometimes that doesn't happen. So since we're similar, Shelly, walk us through what happened and how your birth started and ended.
Okay. So we literally touched 9 months, and it was like the day to the day. It was like, yes, we made it. 9 months. Great. Then I started feeling a little headachy. I felt headaches. It was a Friday. I felt headaches throughout the whole entire weekend. It was a smooth journey, thank God. Like, no sickness, no, anything that comes with pregnancy, nothing of that sort. So that following Monday, which was our weekly scheduled prenatal appointment, we actually had a late appointment, which was in the evening, but that day the office just wanted to schedule it a lot earlier, so it was like 1 p.m. and we had to rearrange, go ahead and get her done. Natural thing we're looking forward to, but I did want to mention the headaches. And throughout the weekend, I also have to mention that I was getting spikes of high blood pressure readings, which didn't happen. So it was, because I'm so thorough, I took pictures of the numbers and everything, went to the provider, and I'm like, oh, this is what I'm feeling. They took the, vitals, and it was totally high as well. And so what happened was, she was like, so I'm tempted to just, send you to go get, extra testing. And she definitely explained about, the temporary eclampsia and what it seems like, what it's going to look like. And we're already, we've past the 9 months mark, and if that's the case, then we're ready to induce. And that was like the trigger word from the course. It's like, really, sis, so I was, and so basically what happened was, she said, based on the numbers, we're tempted to send you. And one thing I remember was, take your time and rest, right? So after that appointment, went home, I took my time. Like, we had it scheduled at 3, we ended up at the hospital at 5. Because it was just like, I already remembered, like, hurry up and wait and all of that stuff, right?
I was trying to get to the hospital.
Man, he was rushing me. Like, I was like, of all the people.
Because she said go to the hospital, get checked out, but then she told us, but you might as well just bring your stuff. And that's when I was like, I mean, if I'm bringing my stuff, that means you're saying that should be staying. And
it's a possibility.
And that just made me nervous. So, because it was 2 weeks earlier, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks earlier.
Then she was planned. And so basically, I'm just la-di-da-di-da, I'm getting stuff in order. She's saying we might be staying. So then I'm like, okay, let's go. And then I'm like, on the way, I'm like, oh, I have to eat because they might not let me eat. So I went to go eat. He doesn't want anything. So I grabbed something. I'm eating. I'm just, lollygagging. We get there. We cannot find. And that's something that we should have done. Find where we should go to the hospital. But, I mean, we didn't do that part. But, hey, we didn't find triage or anything like that. So it took forever to get to where we needed to go. Then they did the testing. Long story short, we're being kept. And, still then, I was super calm, super relaxed, super chill. They, entered us into the room, and I asked for dim lights. I asked for the ball in between. I forget what it's called again.
The peanut ball.
And so I asked for that so that I could, start my resting. And I did everything that I was prepared to do in terms of, just setting the mood. We didn't want to alarm our family, so we kind of just kept it, cute. And then we didn't know, we were like, what's going to really happen, right? And so we kind of kept it cute. And then And then so I started resting. Then 10 a.m. was the gentle induction that they used, which was Cytotec. And so 10 p.m.
10 p.m.?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 10 p.m.
Sorry, 10 p.m.
Right.
And so once they started that, I was very, very adamant about not knowing the actual centimeters. I didn't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
But force of habit, the first time at 10 p.m., they said it, and I was 1 centimeters. And so, but this is a great thing that I learned with your course, advocacy, and making sure you stand your ground. Because I was very, very adamant throughout the night with telling them what I wanted and did not want. And thankfully, our hospital was amazing with that. So then I didn't feel anything. And it was so smooth and so light and so cool that I was actually having contractions. And the nurse was like, so how are you feeling? I'm feeling good. So you're not feeling any contractions? No. But it's like on the monitor happening. Like, I'm just chilling. So, I mean, 2 hours come, midnight. Then I start feeling contractions. Luckily, I rested. I even took a short cat nap, and it was cool. And so I started to feel it, but it wasn't painful. It felt like cramps. It felt really light and like, oh, you know, because I haven't had a period in 9 months.
Yeah. Forgot what those felt like.
You know, like that. So, then I'm like, okay, it's time to move. Because like you said to us, you know when you're getting ready to go or when you feel like you have to get up. And so I started to move around. Then I started to use humming as coping. And I woke him up and he's like, what's happening? I'm humming, girl. I'm around the room swaying and humming. And that's pretty much how it went throughout the night. And around 4, because you know, it's every 4 hours for the Cytotec.
Right.
Around 4 a.m. they came, so it was past 4 hours, but I guess I didn't scream or anything. They came and checked me again. They didn't do anything else, but she did say, hey, we're going to speed this up. My provider actually came. Hey, we're going to speed this up. We're going to give you another dose of Cytotec. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's necessary. I'm feeling them. I'm good. And she was like, okay, well, let's just check you. And so she did the check and it was 3 centimeters. Again, before they even mentioned that, I said, I don't want to know. But again, they slipped it out. And then she's like, oh, you're progressing pretty well. It's, you know, it's working, so you don't need it. And I mean, if I hadn't known what I'd known, I probably would have gotten that second dose and probably would have freaked out, right, with all the extra pain. So it was only 1 dose. And so throughout the night, I'm still going in. And then around 10 a.m. is when they came again throughout the night, I'm skipping ahead. But throughout that same night, I was not on the monitor. I was on a wireless monitor. And so it got closer to 5, like they were telling me that they couldn't, you know, see my readings on the monitor. So they said, you know what, we're just going to give you Pitocin. It's not like you're progressing. There's nothing happening. And I'm like, sis, I'm feeling it. Something's happening. So she was like, we're going to have to tie you back to the bed with the wired one. All right, put me on the bed. Then we're not doing Pitocin. And so they did put me on the bed, and then they saw everything happening. But I was like, well, how could I make sure that I'm still progressing and not moving? And I remember what you said. Our doula was saying, you know, keep the inlet open, you know, and you'll be fine. I ended up having to take a nap at that time. And it was good because, you know, I don't know, it just felt easier. But then after some point in time, you know, they came and checked me again around 10, close to 10. And then that was the one that they didn't tell me about. So thankfully.
They figured it out by then.
Finally.
So I was just so happy because if I had known, I think I would have been discouraged. But yes, by around 10 o'clock, things were progressing, things were moving. I was so happy because her heart rate wasn't dipping. That was one main concern, but I was breathing through every single contraction. I breathed and I swayed. I breathed and I swayed. And his job was, I have the app Freya, Freya, and that's an app where you can press the button to time your contraction, but it also talks to you to help you breathe. It'll count for you. And so I wasn't controlling my breathing. I just kept breathing know we did the 4 count, and then it was just like, forget it. I'm just breathing. I don't even want to pay attention to that. And so his job was to press the button. So every time I had something, press the button.
Yeah. Talk to me, friend. Talk to me.
Yeah. So it was great. And so after they checked me, 10 a.m. comes. I feel lightheaded. Then I throw up.
Yeah, there's nothing but green Gatorade on everything electronic.
Oh my gosh.
It exploded. It was like projectile.
It was just crazy.
Yeah.
And I threw up, and then I was just like literally stuck. I was on the computer. They had to try to wipe around me. I was
my God.
on the keyboard stuck.
Yeah.
I couldn't move because the contraction was there. But this whole time I'm not screaming, I'm not yelling, I'm either humming or breathing. So it still wasn't as bad, but they're just increasing. The uptick that I'm not feeling like, oh my God, this baby's coming. I'm not feeling that yet. It's just getting more intense.
Yeah. Breathing,
and it's so helpful that he was pressing that button. So after the contraction is gone, like everybody's frozen. The nurse is, he's frozen. He's like, hey, okay, wait, the button isn't done yet. So then he presses it again.
Oh my gosh.
And I have to say, Chanel, that we weren't sure. My doula wasn't sure. We weren't sure what was happening because the sequence, what was it? I forget, the 331 or what
the
was the
contraction pattern?
Yeah, it was not.
It wasn't consistent.
No.
Okay.
So we weren't sure what was happening. So we weren't sure if we were close to transition or anything. It was just not happening.
Yeah.
So even she was like, I'm not sure what's going on, but hey, in labor. And so that's what happened. So they cleaned us up, and then I had to use the restroom. And I have to say, the dilation station, that toilet was my safe haven. I was on it, and I felt so much relief every single time. So I went to the restroom. Another time, I kept going there every time. And then that was a time where I felt the big contraction. And
get you over the hump.
Yes. And I said the words, honey, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I'm going to make it. And in my mind, I was like, I'm in transition.
Remember that key phrase.
Yes. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I even said, do you think we should do the epidural, which was something I was so ready not to do. And so then, would you like to jump in?
Oh, yeah. So this is where it turns up at. So I'll say like between 10 a.m. and 11:10, that was the most intense hour of my entire life. So she's on the toilet, she's laboring. That was another incredible thing we learned from the course, the fact of just laboring like on the toilet, because that helped a lot. So she's on the toilet. I'm texting our doula, just giving her updates. You know, she wants to know when to come. I'm telling her, last time I checked, they only told me that she was, I think, 5 centimeters or
5
something
centimeters.
Like that. So, so we were like, we'll let you know when it gets a little closer.
And that was at 10.
10.
Close
10
to
o'clock.
10.
Yeah,
5
close
centimeters.
to 10 o'clock. So, so now she's on the toilet, she's laboring, and now, if you're familiar with the hospital toilets or hospital bathroom, like the nurse call button is everywhere. Yeah, one in the shower, one here. So she feels the contraction from hell. Like it's the craziest contraction. She does one of these, like she screams, both arms come out here, punches the nurse call button, like with everything she had. In about, I would say 0.56 seconds, 80 nurses come in with stethoscopes and everything.
Oh my gosh.
It came through every entrance there was at like simultaneously. It was like a movie. It was all of them just scrubbed up, master. And I was like, hey, they were like, what's going on? I'm like, listen. She hit the call button. It's not an emergency. It's okay. Now she overhears me say it's not an emergency. And she says, no, it's an emergency. I think this baby's coming. And I'm just like, I could have sworn it was only 5 centimeters. But listen, let's tell everybody, look, she's okay. We're all right. We're all right. Now, half of them leave. Like the 40 of them leave in like 40 seconds. Because she's still like,
I'm breathing and then I'm moaning.
No, but
louder.
you're screaming at this point.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
am screaming.
at this point, it's getting farther along. So
but
now
I'm saying she's coming because I felt
yeah.
the descent.
So she's saying that, oh, this baby's coming. So because of all of her energy, some of them were like, okay, you know what? We have to stay and figure this thing out. So now I'm trying to get her off the toilet. And by the way, I'm speaking with our doula simultaneously.
I was gonna say your doula's not there yet.
She's not there yet. She's not there. And you know, and I even told our doula, like, you know, she's thinking about taking the epidural. And she was like, tell her to hold off. She might not need to. All that. So I'm like, all right, cool. So now, the nurses are trying to get her to the bed. She can't stand up. I'm literally putting one foot in front of the other, trying to help her walk to the bed, which is like 5, you know, which is 1 foot away. So
when I was like, she's coming, the nurse that was attending to me throughout the night, she's like, no, she's not, because of the 5 centimeter thing, right?
Right.
No, not yet. I'm like, she's coming. No, you gotta get it together. And poor Sebastian, he's like, maybe it's not happening yet. So they're trying to convince me.
Yeah,
I mean, but they don't
I'm trying
know,
to be on her side.
Right.
Like
it's just a lot. So they're trying to move me physically. It's just, I just feel her like there or like right there. And I'm like, I can't move.
So she gets to the bed and now she's like on all fours. And then I think she's still saying that the baby's coming while they're saying that not yet. And I'm trying to play the middle man, like, hey, you know, this might be the mucus plug. I think it's the mucus plug because I saw it actually come out. And so I'm, you know, trying to play that role. That didn't last. But she's still on, you know, all fours, and they're trying to get her to turn around so they can, I think, read. They were trying to read you like some levels or something like that. They needed her on her back for something that they were information that they needed. She told everybody no. To her, no. To you, no. No, no. One black lady came in, you know, like she was like, listen, I need you. Good. Yeah, she did. She was like, I need you to turn around. He was like, okay, turns around. Now she's on her back, and this was just nuts because like she's on her back, she starts to breathe, starts to heavy breathing, and you know, she gets to calling out to God. Oh God, what are you saying? Oh, I'm praising your name. This is we're doing this because you're a blessing and all that stuff. Calling out. Right?
Amen.
I'm like, you go ahead and you call out to our Lord and say,
yes.
Right. So she's doing that. And
hold on. What time is it at this point?
At this point, we're getting closer to 11 a.m.
Okay, so it hasn't even been an hour. Been 30 minutes. Okay.
No, been a full hour yet.
Okay.
So we're getting to 11 a.m. And then around that time.
So doula is on her way now.
Because the doula calls and just heard her in the background. Leaves and she's coming immediately, sending her ETA, all that stuff. And she's like, oh, like what didn't you just tell me you were 5 centimeters?
OB is not nowhere to be found.
Neither
I'm 5 centimeters.
Yeah, OB is not here either. So now one of the other doctors was like, I gotta step in here.
Deliver this baby. Oh, because she checked. She was like, okay, we're gonna get ready to check. And then she checked. I didn't feel anything. I just felt contraction. She's like, okay, we're gonna have this baby. And it was just like switch because it was 10 centimeters.
I told you, sis, I'm about to have a baby. I told you to listen to me.
Yeah.
I heard. That's exactly how she felt.
Yeah.
She always feels like, you know, a woman knows her body. Even though the other professionals, you know, she knows her body. Yeah. But I have to honestly say, when she started pushing and I saw like hair, like even though we prepared to have a baby, we was like, yo, we want to have a baby like this time, maybe this year. We prepared, had the gender reveal, got the gifts, got the this and that. It wasn't until I saw the hair, I looked at I was like, I'm having a child.
Yeah.
And then after I saw hair, literally her entire body came out. I saw the whole thing. I saw the entire thing.
I barely pushed.
Yeah, she barely pushed. She was kind of pushing, but she just came right out.
Membrane burst right at birth. Like no water broke or anything. And she cried. She
cried for like 2 seconds, and then out of nowhere she was dead silent with her eyes wide open. Yep. Just looking.
Just watching it.
And then the nurses are fawning over her. Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, she's this and that. And I'm just like, okay, all right. Cool. Everything all right? How's my wife doing? Because she was shivering. Yeah. Like she was shivering. Yeah. And that scared the hell out of me because I was just like, yo, why? Okay. I was like, because I'm with her, making sure my baby's all right. But I'm like, why is she shivering? What does this mean? It's like, oh, it's normal. I'm like, Okay, all right, cool. I'll take your word for this.
Yeah.
And around this time, then our OB just kind of strolls in with her coat, like, hey, what I miss? Like, I'm like, yo, everything. Like, the baby's here. Like, you know,
meet my daughter.
Yeah, like presenting, yeah. And then our doula comes in right after. Like, the two people that we really needed for this missed the entire thing because it all happened in that truncated time. It all happened in that hour, and they were not prepared. So they just had to bring everybody on board to help this happen. So I cut the umbilical cord. She was about 5 pounds, 3 ounces, pretty small baby. And our OB just, you know, sewed her up, and then they put her on the you know, they take her out in the wheelchair, and literally the nurses give like a standing ovation. Like, all the nurses just kind of clapped as they took us to the next room. But I'll say this, we felt kind of guilty, like, the next day and all, because we were like, yo, aren't we supposed to feel like this? That feels like it's the baby. Like, we're supposed to, but we were just so like, we were still like so in shock with everything.
Yes.
That it took like a day or day and a half for us to look at her and be like, oh my God, this is our baby, our daughter, and feel all the feels. Like, but it just happened so fast, and it was so hard, and you know, and everybody, we're telling our parents and all our family, like, who was not expecting us to come back with a child. It was just, it was the crazy situation. But like, but it was, all in all, it was a beautiful thing. Experience. But it was hectic, you know, on the outside. I'm sure it was way more hectic for you. Yeah. But just watching it all, it was just, I just didn't know what to do. I felt like, should I help? Should I not? Should I help? Should I not? And I just left it to the professionals, and, you know. But,
well, I just want y'all to know you did an amazing job, and it was just the two of you, right? Like, obviously you were communicating with your doula throughout the whole process, and obviously I'm sure that was also extremely helpful in getting her guidance and things like that. But y'all did it. Like, y'all did that together, and I hope that you guys have given yourself so many like pats on the back and like are proud of yourself, because that is amazing. And also, I hope that for those of you who are listening to this, when we talk about dilation, understand that it can happen fast, right? Like, you chose a place that you were comfortable. It's called dilation station for a reason. Like, it did its job pretty quickly for you, right? That baby was like, oh, thanks, Mom, I have room now. Shoo, here we go. Let's be born, right? And of course, that's not everybody's story, but you went from 5 centimeters to having a baby in an hour. Like, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And, you know, making noise does not mean like that it's a traumatic birth, you know, like we're gonna make noise. And I think sometimes people can misinterpret noise for pain, or misinterpret noise for like being out of control or whatever. So tell us, like, or tell me, what was your, when you look back and think about this experience, like, how do you feel about the whole thing?
Oof, I think that I'm gonna say, if you get nothing outside of this, this is the key thing. Preparation is key. Prepare for every single possibility. Just because ours was this way, yours may be different. Another mama's would. Shout out to Work Your Birth Queens, you know, our sisterhood that we have formed from this course. Everyone's story was different, and we related to some aspect to each story. And that's what I want somebody to take out of this. It does not matter how it's going to be. Like, you can't compare, but I think that having that experience, I was prepared for every possibility. I was prepared for a C-section. I was prepared for emergency, whatever. Mm-hmm. I was prepared for having a child in the house. I was prepared for having one in the car. Like, it was just so many possibilities that we talked through in the course. Preparation is key. That's what it is. It's like, it might not happen the way you might have medicated a birth, you know, you might have to go undergo a knife or something. You might have it at home. You might have it in the car. It was just everything that I was so happy about, just taking this course, having this experience, that I was prepared for everything. I was prepared. I
would say that I'm actually, I don't know if I've told you really, but I'm sure I have, but I'm really like proud of her, because I feel like what she did mentally was so impressive to me, because I know her for being someone that's, you know, pretty, you know, fearful about things that require, you know, like something of this magnitude, giving birth. And, you know, she walked into this, I felt like a champion, and left a champion, you know. I think just being prepared, and then just like the way she chose to think about it, the way she prepared herself mentally for every situation. You know, I thought that was very impressive, because this is a serious thing. You know, you don't know what can happen when you're on that bed, you know. And I was, you know, nervous because, you know, I want my wife here once the baby's here, and I want everything to go well. And, you know, I'm very, you know, aware of, you know, all the other possibilities. But I feel like she kind of just walked into it like, yo, I'm ready, and, you know, let's do it. And she didn't really show, I don't want to say signs of weakness, because it's not even a matter of weakness. But I feel like she just walked into this with strength. You know, my favorite Bible verse is 2 Timothy 1:7. As God doesn't give us the spirit of fear, spirit of sound mind, and but anyway, those, like, I feel like we walked into, you know, the situation with confidence, and confidence comes with being prepared. Confidence comes with, you know, actually knowing what you're about to do before it gets done. So, you know, so I'm proud of her for that.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, no, of course. You know, and I really like, I would just tell any of the, you know, the partners out there, all the guys, that, you know, I don't think that this is just, you know, I was gonna say, like, I don't think it's just her journey. This is y'all's journey. You know what I'm saying? You're a part of this. You put that baby there, and you're responsible for every step of the way, just being that extra set of hands, but also not just being an extra set of hands, but like you wanna know about it too. You wanna know about the process too. My brother actually, I have a twin brother who had a baby 6 weeks before me, which is crazy. But also had a daughter. But I saw how in tune he was, how much he was, you know, very focused on the course, and saying, oh, you know, the course starts at 6 p.m. We have to. He's you know, that way as well. And initially, I feel like I was just so focused on, okay, you know, make sure I have enough money, make sure I have this and that. And I was like, you know what, let me pause and actually try to learn what she's learning, learn her body, learn those, because, you know, this is a us thing.
Cohesive.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I had to focus on. And I think that's what made it more, I feel like I was a better partner, because I learned and took the course with her. You know, we did it together, and it wasn't stuff she was just telling me all the time. Like, I feel like I was able to be a much better partner, because I could be like, hey, I could remember the thing you possibly forgot, and things of that nature. So that's something I would say to anybody out there that's going through this right now on the guy side, on the partner side.
Yeah. I love that. That is so powerful. I mean, I think a lot of partners think that way. You know, it's like the logistical side. Okay, we got enough money. Got to make sure that you know, like, what is the support going to look like? Got to make sure I can afford this baby, and those things are absolutely important, right? Let's not take away from those. But yeah, to your point, I have experienced my partner, my husband, so much differently after that intimate experience of birth. Like, I knew that he was there with me the first time. Like, we both were clueless, right? So, like, that was a whole different experience. But I felt so much more connected to him after seeing how invested he was in this journey the second and even the third time around. Like, it is a completely different level to your relationship when partners can really just go to bat and support you through something that they'll never physically experience, ever. They'll never be able to experience that. They may never fully understand it. But to know that you're with her in that process every step of the way goes so far beyond what we probably could even explain. And I'm just so proud of both of you, because obviously I didn't get all of those details. I'm just so proud of both of you from, like, the beginning. Like, every single call, every single time we talked, like, you did choose to think about it in the way that you wanted to experience it. And that is hard. That's really hard to do. It's not something that's just like, oh, I'm just going to think this can be positive birth and then it's going to be that. Like, no, you have a lot of opinions and a lot of things that you come across and read and accidentally click on, or Instagram and the algorithm pop something up on your feed and you're like, dang, I thought I was ready, and then here comes this post, and now I'm scared again, right? And so I'm just so proud of both of you for taking it as it came and like staying in control over your experience, and trusting yourself, Shelly. Like you said, this baby's coming. Like, no, I don't think so. No.
It's coming.
She knew.
She's here. You want to deliver her, or should I deliver her? Like, so, but yes, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so thankful for you guys sharing your story, because again, it's hopefully for those of you who are listening, it's going to inspire you, inspire other families who are going to listen to this, to know that you can be in control, right? Like you can be in control of your experience. You can be in control of how you respond to what's happening in your body. You can speak life into your experience. You can choose to become prepared. You and your partner can do this together, right? I just talked to another mama whose doula didn't make it to her birth because it was so fast. And of course, like as a doula myself, like missing a birth is like, oh, this is what we've been working for. Like I want to be there with you and support you. But also knowing that we've also prepared you enough to where if we didn't make it, if things happened fast, or if things just happen because life happens, that you have the tools to do this yourselves. Like you said, you made the baby, so you can bring the baby earthside together as well. So all that to say, thank you guys so much for sharing your story. Your family is so extremely beautiful, and cannot wait to watch you grow as this little girl grows and continues to grow. She's literally the most gorgeous thing ever. Literally, when you sent me those 5-month pictures, I was like, husband, hey. He's like, no, girl, we're done. So, but yes, thank you guys so much. Continue to shed light and share all of the things that you are doing with us. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, or even maybe reach out to them. I'm sure they'd be happy to like share more about their experience. So,
and I just want to, I always say this to you, you get so many emails from me, but thank you for doing what you do. It is life-changing. Our lives have changed. And I mean, people don't know what they don't know, and having folks like you in this generation is so key. And I'm so blessed. I think our journey was blessed with so many. I mean, we had so many wonderful people in our journey, and you were part of it. And so we thank you. We thank our doula, our provider, all of the people around us. But definitely, you know, Work Your Birth was amazing, and definitely I encourage anybody who's everybody, especially if you're a first-time mama. If
you're a first time mother, you should absolutely, it shouldn't even be, you know.
Yes, no debate.
Just go for it, because I had no idea how much we didn't know. We already know we didn't know this stuff. Then I was like, oh wow, there's a lot we really don't know. And it was just so helpful to have all that information at our fingertips, you know. So we appreciate all of the knowledge you give us, and you know, we'll just continue to keep those things in mind for the next baby. Right?
Yes. I'll see you guys for the next baby.
Right.
Yeah, for the next one.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. And I'm just, again, I'm so grateful for you. And thank you for those kind words. It really, this is why I do what I do. It is, you know, I want there to be more stories like this, and you guys to write your own birth story. So I'm happy that you did. But thank you guys again so much. And y'all, save this, share this. If you're interested in the program, I am accepting families. So go ahead and fill out the link that's in my bio. If you have any questions about it, we can discuss all of that on a call, and make sure that this is the right program and fit for you and your family. So with all that being said, have a phenomenal Wednesday. This newborn life, y'all, I don't even know what day it is anymore.
That's a fact.
Like, I should just say afternoon. Just have a wonderful afternoon. And we'll talk soon.
All right.
All right. Bye.
See y'all later.